All right, we're about to take a tour of the most complex, most fascinating object in the entire known universe. And the wildest part? You carry it around with you every single day. Yep, I'm talking about that 3-pound command center sitting right inside your skull, your brain. So let's dive in.
So let's kick things off with a pretty fundamental question. Where do you actually live inside your head? I mean, is your personality, your sense of humor, your ability to tell right from wrong, is all of that stuff packed neatly into one little spot? Or is it kind of spread out all over the place?
Well, you might be surprised to learn that one of our first big clues came from a truly bizarre accident back in 1848. A railroad foreman named Phineas Gage had a freak accident that gave science a shocking and frankly gruesome peek behind the curtain. But to really understand what happened to him, we first need a basic map of the territory. So to get what happened to Phineas, we need to get our bearings. Let's start with a quick look at the brain's basic geography. First thing you need to know is that your brain isn't just one big blob. It's actually split right down the middle into two halves, the left and right hemispheres. And then each of those hemispheres is divided up into 4 main territories. We call them lobes. Think of these lobes as specialized departments in a company, where each one has a very specific and critical job to do. So let's do that. Let's take a quick tour and see what each of these specialized departments is actually in charge of. Our first stop is right up front, behind your forehead. This is the big one, the frontal lobe. You can think of this as the CEO of your brain. It's the executive suite where all the high-level thinking and big decisions happen. And this lobe does so much of what really makes you, you. It's in charge of planning for the future, solving complex problems, and here's the big one. It's the home of your personality and your ability to navigate social situations. It also handles voluntary movement and, in a little spot called Broca's area, it helps you produce speech. Just hang on to that personality part. It's going to be important later. Okay, moving back from the frontal lobe, we get to the parietal lobe. Now, if the frontal lobe is the CEO, you can think of this area as the operations department. Its job is to take all the raw data coming in from your senses and make sense of it all. This is how you feel the keys under your fingers, the warmth of a mug, or the sting of a cut. But it also gives you your sense of spatial awareness. You know, how you can walk through a crowded room without bumping into everything. It's constantly building a real-time 3D map of the world around you.
Pretty cool, right?
Now, if we drop down to the sides of your head, kind of right behind your ears, we find the temporal lobes. And their location is a massive clue to what they do. These guys are your brain's audio and memory specialists. This is where all the sound from the outside world gets processed, but it's more than that. A specific spot here, called Wernicke's area, is what helps you understand the words I'm saying right now. On top of that, it plays a huge role in forming and retrieving memories. So every song you can't get out of your head, every conversation you remember, yep, you can thank your temporal lobes. Okay, our last stop on this quick tour is tucked away at the very, very back of your head. It's the occipital lobe. And it might seem like a strange place to put this department, but its job is one of the most important ones of all. The occipital lobe is a super specialist. I mean, it is almost entirely dedicated to one thing and one thing only, your vision. All the raw data that your eyes collect gets sent on a long trip to the back of your brain where this lobe works like a master decoder, turning all those signals into the rich, colorful world you see around you. It's basically your brain's own private movie theater. So we've got our main departments, but inside these regions there are even more detailed maps. And the map of your own body inside your brain, well, it's probably not what you'd expect. Scientists have a pretty weird name for this map, the homunculus. It literally means little man. And it's this funny, distorted representation of your body that exists in your brain, where the size of each body part isn't based on its actual size, but on how sensitive it is. You ever wonder why a tiny little paper cut on your fingertip hurts like crazy, but you can get a way bigger scrape on your back and barely even notice it? Well, this is why. Your fingertips, and also your lips, take up a massive amount of real estate on this brain map. They are the true superstars here, packed with nerve endings, which gives them incredible sensitivity. Okay, so we've got all these specialized departments, the CEO, the sensory team, the audio department, but how in the world do they talk to each other? How does vision from the back of your head connect with planning way up in the front? Well, they use the brain's incredible information superhighway. And this superhighway is built from something called white matter. You can think of it as all the wiring and all the cabling in the brain.
It's a vast network of billions of nerve fibers, all bundled together, connecting all the different lobes so they can work together as one seamless, high-speed team.
And these connections are pretty organized. There are basically three types of calls the brain can make. You have association fibers, which are like local calls, connecting different spots within the same hemisphere. Then you have commissural fibers. Those are the international calls, connecting the left hemisphere to the right. And finally, you've got projection fibers, which are like a call down to headquarters, connecting the outer brain to the deeper structures and the spinal cord. So, now that we have our map and we understand the wiring, let's circle all the way back to where we started, with that railroad worker Phineas Gage, because this, right here, is where all the pieces of the puzzle just click into place.
That tamping iron that shot through his head, it obliterated a huge chunk of his left frontal lobe. And miraculously, he survived. He could walk, he could talk, but he wasn't Phineas Gage anymore. The man who was known for being responsible and well-liked was gone. In his place was someone who is profane, impatient, and couldn't hold down a job or make a sound decision to save his life. His personality was completely rewritten. The historical accounts are just stunning. His own doctors put it perfectly. They said he became a child in his intellectual capacities with the general passions of a strong man. In other words, the part of his brain that acted as the filter, the planner, the social brake, it was just gone. So Gage's terrible tragedy became a landmark case for neuroscience. It was some of the first real hard evidence that these incredibly complex parts of us, our personality, our judgment, they aren't just some vague spiritual thing. They are physically located in a specific piece of brain tissue, the frontal lobes. And that brings us to a final, pretty profound question, doesn't it? If the very core of who you are, your character, your judgment, your personality is physically tied to that little chunk of brain behind your forehead, then who are you without it? It's a question that really gets to the heart of what it even means to be human.